The night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station was usually quiet, but tonight was different. Tom Harris stared at his screen, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. The signal patterns he was seeing didn't make any sense, or rather, they made too much sense. "Sir," he called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "You need to see this." Station Chief Michael Rogers walked over, his footsteps echoing in the quiet control room. He leaned over Tom's shoulder, his eyes narrowing as he studied the display. The patterns were too regular, too precise to be natural phenomena, and they were coming from multiple directions in space. "How long has this been going on?" Rogers asked. "That's the thing, sir. When I noticed the first pattern, I ran a check through our archive data. These signals have always been there. We just never noticed them before. They're hidden in what we thought was background noise." Rogers reached for his secure phone. Some things needed to be reported immediately, and this was one of them. Admiral James Walker stood in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the solar system. Red dots marked the positions of newly detected objects at the edge of their space, objects that shouldn't be there, objects that moved in ways that defied natural orbits. "Play it again," he ordered. The simulation started over. Hundreds of small objects, previously hidden behind sophisticated cloaking technology, became visible as Earth's new quantum detection grid came online. They had been watching Earth, recording everything, analyzing humanity's every move. "How did we miss this for so long?" asked one of the junior officers. Walker allowed himself a small smile. "We didn't," he said. "We've known about them for decades. We just didn't want them to know that we knew." The room fell silent. Walker walked to the main display and brought up a new image, a structure hidden in the Kuiper Belt, recently captured by Earth's special forces. This is their main monitoring station, or rather, it was. The facility was massive, built into an asteroid. It had taken years of careful planning to capture it without alerting the other alien observation posts. Inside, they had found something remarkable: detailed records of Earth's development, military capabilities, and social structures. But more importantly, they found proof of what they had long suspected. The aliens fundamentally misunderstood human nature. "They think we're primitive," Walker continued, "because we still fight among ourselves. They see our conflicts as a sign of weakness." He paused, letting his words sink in. "They don't understand that these conflicts have made us stronger. Each war, each battle, each competition has pushed us to innovate, to adapt, to improve." He brought up another display, showing Earth's hidden military installations, bases that no alien surveillance had ever detected, weapon systems that had been developed in complete secrecy, ships that were ready to launch at a moment's notice. "The aliens think they're studying a primitive species that's barely reached space," Walker said. "They don't realize they're watching a unified planet that's been preparing for them for over a century." A message flashed on the main screen. More data decoded from the captured facility. Dr. Lisa Reed, the lead analyst, stepped forward. "Sir, we found their assessment of Earth's threat level. They've classified us as potentially dangerous, but technologically inferior." Walker nodded. "Good. Let them keep thinking that." He turned to face his officers. "Humanity has always known we weren't alone. We've been finding their probes, detecting their signals, and preparing our defenses since before the First World War. Every major nation has known. It's why we finally united. Not out of fear, but out of preparation." He looked at the display showing Earth, surrounded by hidden alien observation posts. "They think they're being clever, hiding in the shadows, studying us like we're animals in a zoo. But we've been studying them right back. And now," he smiled, "now it's time to let them know that the zoo animals have been watching the zookeepers all along." "Sir," Tom's voice came through the command center speakers, "we're detecting increased activity from all observation posts. They know we've taken their facility." "Good," Walker said. "Let them worry. Let them wonder what else we know." He straightened his uniform. It's time to send humanity's message to the stars. Not a message of fear or submission, but a warning. We're ready, we're waiting, and we're not as primitive as you think. The red dots on the display began moving, alien ships repositioning themselves, probably preparing for any possible human response. But Walker wasn't worried. After all, humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment. The real question wasn't whether Earth could defend itself. It was whether the aliens were ready to face what humanity had become. Dr. Anna Miller hadn't slept in 36 hours, but she couldn't stop now. The alien communications they were intercepting were too important. She took another sip of cold coffee and leaned closer to her screen, where streams of decoded alien messages scrolled past. "Play that last sequence again," she told her computer. The message repeated, this time slower. Her eyes widened. "Oh my God," she whispered, reaching for her phone. "Get me Admiral Walker. Now." 20 minutes later, she stood in front of Earth's military leadership, her hands steady despite her exhaustion. "The aliens aren't just watching us," she said. "They're arguing about us." She pulled up the translated messages on the main screen. Earth isn't just under observation. It's under quarantine. They've designated our solar system as a restricted zone. But here's the interesting part. They're afraid of us. Admiral Walker leaned forward in his chair. Afraid. Why? Because of this. Anna highlighted a section of the message. "They call us evolutionary anomalies. According to their data, we're developing too fast. Most species take thousands of years to advance from basic tools to spaceflight. We did it in less than 200 years. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Anna continued, "There are two main alien factions arguing about Earth. One group wants to contain us before we grow stronger. The other group," she paused, allowing herself a small smile, "the other group wants to run away." General Peters, head of Global Strategic Command, spoke up. "Can we identify these aliens? Their locations?" "Better than that," Anna replied. She pressed a button, and a new display appeared, a map of nearby star systems. Red dots marked alien observation posts. Blue dots showed their home worlds, and green lines traced their communication paths. "We can read their mail." Walker stood up, studying the map. "They're having this debate right now." "Yes, sir. And there's more." Anna brought up another message. "They're planning to make a final decision about Earth soon. Some kind of council meeting. They're going to decide whether to officially contact us, or," she hesitated, "or what, doctor? Or implement what they call permanent containment procedures." The room erupted in quiet murmurs. Walker raised his hand for silence. "How long do we have?" "Based on their communications, the council meets in 3 Earth days." Walker nodded, then turned to face the assembled leaders. "Well then, I think it's time we join their conversation. Dr. Miller, can we send a message using their own communication channels?" Anna smiled. "We already can, sir. We've been practicing with their technology since we captured their monitoring station." "Good." Walker walked to the center of the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, humanity has been patient. We've watched them watching us. We've learned their languages, their technology, their fears. Now it's time to show them that their fears are justified. Not because we're dangerous, but because we're ready." He turned to General Peters. "Deploy the fleet. All of it. I want every ship we've hidden in the outer solar system ready to move." To Anna, he said, "Prepare a message, something they'll understand. Let them know that their secret surveillance wasn't so secret after all." "What exactly should we say, sir?" Walker thought for a moment. "Tell them that humanity appreciates their interest in our development. Tell them we've been studying their observations with great interest. And tell them," he smiled, "tell them that if they want to know what we're really capable of, they should ask the crew of their monitoring station." "The station they think is still operational?" Anna asked. "Exactly. Let them chew on that for a while." As the room cleared out, Anna stayed behind, working on the message. She thought about all the years humanity had spent preparing, all the technologies they'd developed in secret, all the defenses they'd built while pretending to be primitive. The aliens thought Earth was quarantined, contained, safely locked away. They were about to learn that they hadn't trapped humanity in here with them. They had trapped themselves out there with humanity. She began typing the message, choosing her words carefully. After all, this wasn't just any communication. This was humanity's first official message to the stars. And it needed to make one thing very clear. The time for hiding was over. Captain Robert Thompson stood in the captured alien monitoring station, watching his crew work. The station's massive communication array hummed with power, but this time, it would broadcast humanity's message, not alien observations. "Status report," he called out, his voice echoing through the facility's curved halls. "All systems ready, sir," replied Tech Officer Mark Wilson. "We've integrated our quantum computers with their broadcast system. Whatever we send, they won't be able to stop it." Thompson nodded, checking his watch. In 10 minutes, humanity would reveal itself to the galaxy. Not as a primitive species stumbling into space, but as a force to be reckoned with. His tablet beeped. A message from Admiral Walker. "Begin transmission." Thompson took a deep breath. "Start the broadcast." The station's powerful transmitters came to life, sending humanity's message across hundreds of light years in an instant, using the alien's own quantum communication technology. On screens around him, alien communication channels lit up one by one as the message reached their networks. The message began with a simple greeting in each alien language. Then it showed them something that made several alien monitoring posts go dark in panic. A complete map of their observation network around Earth. "They're responding, sir," Wilson reported. "Multiple channels. They're trying to shut us out." Thompson smiled. "Let them try. Dr. Miller's codes are running through their entire network now. Show them the next part." The second part of the message displayed years of human counter-surveillance. Hidden cameras showing alien probe landings that humanity had tracked. Sensor logs revealing cloaked alien ships that Earth had been monitoring. Data stolen from their own surveillance systems. "Sir," Wilson called out, "we're detecting movement. Multiple alien vessels breaking orbit from their hidden positions." "Good," Thompson replied. "They're finally showing themselves. Send part 3. The third part of the message was direct. Footage from inside the very station they stood in, showing how human forces had captured it weeks ago. The message was clear. Humanity had taken their most advanced monitoring post without them even knowing it. In the command center back on Earth, Admiral Walker watched alien communications light up with panic. Dr. Miller stood beside him, translating their frantic messages. "They're calling an emergency council meeting," she reported. "One faction is demanding immediate military action. Another is calling for full retreat from the solar system." Walker nodded. "Send the final part." The last part of humanity's message was simple but powerful. It showed Earth's hidden fleet emerging from its camouflaged bases in the asteroid belt and beyond Neptune. Ships that no alien surveillance had ever detected. Weapons that no alien defense could stop. "Message completed, sir," Thompson reported from the station. All parts transmitted. The alien communications channels exploded with activity. Some sent threats. Others sent desperate calls for peace talks. A few simply went silent. Then, in the midst of the chaos, a new message arrived. It was from the Alien Council itself, requesting immediate diplomatic contact. Walker read their message and laughed. "They're demanding to know how long we've known about them." "Should we tell them?" Miller asked. "Tell them the truth. Tell them we've known since they first arrived. Tell them we saw their probes, tracked their ships, and studied their technology. Tell them that while they thought they were watching us develop, we were actually watching them and preparing." He walked to the main window of the command center, looking up at the stars. "Tell them that humanity has a message for any watching species out there. We're not trapped in here with you. You're trapped out there with us." In the captured station, Thompson watched as their message continued to spread across alien networks. He thought about all the years humanity had spent preparing in secret, all the technologies they'd developed while pretending to be primitive, all the defenses they'd built while acting defenseless. The aliens had thought they were studying a young species taking its first steps into space. Instead, they had awakened a giant that had been watching them all along. "Sir," Wilson called out, "we're getting responses from over 50 different alien civilizations. What should we do?" Thompson smiled. Now we wait. They've seen what we can do. They've seen what we know. The next move is theirs. But make sure they understand one thing. Humanity is done hiding. Above Earth, the hidden human fleet maintained its position, weapons ready but not threatening. They didn't need to make threats. The message had been clear enough. Humanity was ready, humanity was watching, and humanity was done being underestimated. The first alien ship appeared at the edge of the solar system exactly 3 days after humanity's message. It was massive, nearly 2 miles long, and painted in swirling patterns of blue and silver. But it came alone, and its weapons were powered down. Admiral Walker stood in Earth's main defense command center, watching the vessel's approach on the giant holographic display. "What are they saying, Dr. Miller?" Anna Miller listened to the incoming transmission, her translation software working quickly. "They say they're diplomats from the Galactic Council." She paused, double-checking the translation. "They're apologizing." Around the room, officers exchanged surprised looks. This wasn't the response they had expected. "They're asking permission to approach Earth," Anna continued. "They say they come in peace," and she smiled. "They acknowledge our right to defend our space." Walker nodded slowly. "Tell them they can approach, but only to Mars orbit. And let them know we'll be escorting them." 6 ships from Earth's hidden fleet emerged from their camouflaged positions. The alien vessels seemed to flinch as Earth's ships appeared from nowhere, their advanced stealth systems making them visible for the first time. But the alien response wasn't just diplomatic. On screens around the command center, reports started coming in of other alien activities. Some were threatening, others curious, and a few seemed almost afraid. "Sir," called out Lieutenant David Cooper from his monitoring station, "we're detecting multiple ships breaking cover throughout the solar system. Looks like most of their observation posts are being abandoned." "Show me," Walker ordered. The main display updated, showing dozens of alien vessels suddenly appearing as they dropped their cloaking fields. Most were small observation ships, but some were warships, big ones. "Message from the Council ship," Anna announced. "They say these vessels are leaving as a show of good faith. She listened carefully. They're withdrawing all unauthorized forces from our solar system." Walker watched as the alien ships started moving away from Earth. Some moved quickly, almost frantically. Others moved with obvious reluctance. But they all moved. "Another message coming in," Anna said. It's from their military command. They're warning us that not all species agree with the Council's peaceful approach. They say some of their more aggressive members see us as a threat that needs to be eliminated." Walker smiled. "Good. Tell them we look forward to meeting anyone who wants to test that theory." Just then, a new alert sounded. 3 massive warships had appeared near Jupiter, their weapons hot. "Hostile vessels detected," Cooper reported. "They're not responding to hails. Energy readings suggest they're preparing to fire." Walker remained calm. "Show them." At his command, 30 more Earth ships appeared around the alien warships, their advanced weapons already locked on target. The alien vessels froze, caught in a trap they hadn't seen coming. "Now they're responding," Anna said. They're standing down, powering down weapons." "Tell them to leave," Walker ordered. "And make sure they understand. Next time, we won't be so polite." The 3 warships retreated quickly. Their attempt at intimidation thoroughly failed. Back at the diplomatic front, the Council ship had reached Mars orbit. Their next message was different, filled with respect and, surprisingly, curiosity. They want to know how we did it. Anna translated. How we hid so much from them for so long. They say no species has ever managed to deceive their surveillance network before. Walker looked at the alien ship on the display. Tell them that's exactly why we succeeded. They were so sure of their superiority that they never considered we might be watching them back. As Earth prepared for its first official diplomatic meeting with alien representatives, more messages poured in from across the galaxy. Some offered alliances, others promised retribution. Many simply asked questions. But one thing was clear: humanity's message had been received. They weren't just another primitive species to be studied or contained. They were a force to be reckoned with, a civilization that had turned decades of alien surveillance into an advantage. The game had changed. And now, as the alien diplomats prepared to meet humanity face to face, everyone in the galaxy was about to learn just how ready Earth really was. The meeting room on Mars Base 1 was tense. On one side sat Earth's representatives, led by Admiral Walker and Dr. Miller. On the other side sat 3 alien diplomats from the Galactic Council, their tall, slender forms draped in shimmering robes. The lead alien diplomat, who called himself First Speaker, placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram of the galaxy, with thousands of dots representing different civilizations. Earth's solar system glowed bright red. For 10,000 years, First Speaker said through the translation device, we have watched young species emerge and join the galactic community. But never, he paused, his large eyes fixed on Walker, never have we seen anything like humans. What makes us so different? Walker asked, though he already knew the answer. The alien touched the hologram, and it zoomed in on Earth's history. Your rate of advancement is impossible. Your ability to adapt is unprecedented, and your capacity to hide your true capabilities. First Speaker's voice carried a note of fear. That should not have been possible. Dr. Miller leaned forward. Yet here we are. Yes, First Speaker agreed. Here you are. A species that turned our own surveillance against us. A species that developed technologies we thought were centuries beyond your reach. A species that, he hesitated, a species that makes many of our member civilizations very nervous. Walker smiled. Is that why we were quarantined? The second alien diplomat spoke up, her voice softer. You were quarantined because you are dangerous, not because you are violent. Many species are violent. You were quarantined because you are unpredictable. You solve problems in ways we cannot understand. She gestured to another hologram, showing human military exercises that their surveillance had recorded. Your soldiers train to fight without weapons. Your scientists make breakthroughs by breaking all known rules. Your children learn by deliberately making mistakes. None of this follows any logical pattern we can understand. The third alien, who had been quiet until now, added, we have seen your entertainment. You imagine thousands of ways your world could end, then use these imaginations to prepare for real threats. You turn your fears into strengths. This is not normal. Walker exchanged looks with Dr. Miller. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the real reason behind the quarantine. You're not afraid of our weapons, Miller said slowly. You're afraid of our minds. First Speaker nodded. Your species takes damaged individuals and helps them become stronger. You see mistakes as opportunities. You deliberately expose yourselves to dangers to build resistance. Even your bodies adapt faster than any species we have encountered. You are, he searched for the right word, evolutionary anomalies. Walker stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the red Martian landscape where humans had built a thriving base despite all odds. We had to be this way to survive. Our world isn't gentle. It forced us to adapt or die. And that, First Speaker said, is what terrifies many of our members. You treat the impossible as a challenge. You see barriers as opportunities. The quarantine was not to protect us from your weapons. It was to protect us from your influence. Miller understood suddenly. You were afraid we would teach other species to think like us. The aliens nodded in unison. Already, some younger civilizations speak of humans with admiration. They want to learn your ways. This is dangerous. Walker turned back to face them. Dangerous to whom? To the species that might learn to think for themselves, to break free from your guidance. First speaker stood, his tall form looming over the table. You do not understand. The galaxy operates on order, on patterns, on predictability. Humanity is chaos given form. You are change incarnate. Walker smiled. Then perhaps it's time for the galaxy to change. You tried to contain us, to study us, to understand us. Instead, you taught us about yourselves. And now you have a choice. Accept that the galaxy is about to become a very different place, or... He let the threat hang in the air. The aliens understood. Humanity wasn't going back into its box. The quarantine was over. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The viewing chamber on the Galactic Council's ship was silent as Earth prepared its demonstration. First speaker and 20 other alien representatives watched nervously as human ships took their positions near Jupiter. Admiral Walker stood confidently at the front of the chamber. You wanted to see what humanity is truly capable of. Today, we'll show you. Dr. Miller worked at a control panel, coordinating with Earth's fleet. All ships report ready, Admiral. Begin the demonstration, Walker ordered. What happened next made the alien observers gasp. 10 human ships suddenly vanished, not with cloaking technology, but by bending space itself around them. They reappeared instantly behind Jupiter's largest moon, something the aliens had thought impossible. Quantum displacement drive, Walker explained casually. We developed it after studying your probe's energy signatures. First speaker's hands gripped his chair tightly. That technology is theoretical. Even our most advanced species haven't made it work. Walker smiled. That's because you follow the rules too closely. We looked at your theories and asked, what if we're wrong about the rules? The next part of the demonstration showed Earth's defensive capabilities. A swarm of small, automated drones emerged from hidden bases in Jupiter's atmosphere, bases that had existed for years without detection. While you were watching our cities, Miller explained, we were building in places you never thought to look. We have bases in gas giants, inside asteroids, even in solar orbit. The drones formed complex patterns, then demonstrated their true purpose. They created an energy field that could redirect any incoming attack. When a test missile was fired, the swarm didn't stop it. They turned it around and sent it back. One of the alien observers stood up in alarm. This is similar to our shield technology. No, Walker corrected him. This is your shield technology, improved. We found one of your damaged probe's shield generators 30 years ago, figured out how it worked, then made it better. The demonstration continued. Earth ships showed weapons that could disable other vessels without destroying them. Defense systems that adapted to any attack. Communications that couldn't be blocked or intercepted. But the most impressive display wasn't about weapons or defenses. It was about life itself. This, Miller said, bringing up a new hologram, is why we succeed where others fail. The image showed human colonies thriving in the harshest environments, deep under Earth's oceans, in the burning deserts, in the frozen poles, places where humans had no right to survive, yet did. You think we're dangerous because we're unpredictable, Walker said. But we're unpredictable because we had to be. Earth tried to kill us countless times. Instead of dying, we adapted. Instead of giving up, we got creative. He walked among the alien observers, making eye contact with each one. You watched us fight our wars and thought we were violent. But each war taught us something new. Each conflict made us stronger. While you were studying us, we were learning. The final part of the demonstration showed something that made the aliens truly understand human potential. A small team of human scientists had taken one of the aliens' impossible theories and made it work, simply because nobody told them it couldn't be done. First speaker stood slowly. You understand what this means. Some of our member species will see this as a declaration of superiority. Walker shook his head. No, this is a demonstration of equality. We're not better than you. We're just different. And we're tired of being treated like a primitive species that needs to be contained. He turned to face the gathered aliens. You have two choices: accept us as equals and learn from our differences, or continue trying to contain us and discover what else we've been hiding. The chamber was quiet for a long moment. Then first speaker did something unexpected. He laughed. For 10,000 years, we guided younger species, taught them to follow our rules, think our way. Perhaps, he looked at Walker with new respect, perhaps it's time we learned some new rules. As the alien observers filed out of the chamber, Miller joined Walker at the window. Think they got the message? Walker watched Jupiter's swirling clouds, where hundreds of human bases and ships lay hidden. They better have. Because we only showed them the basics today. They really don't want to see what we can do when we're not being friendly. 1 month after Earth's demonstration, the main chamber of the Galactic Council looked very different. For the first time in 10,000 years, a new seat had been added to the High Council table. Admiral Walker sat there now, representing Earth as an equal among the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. Dr. Miller stood at a podium, presenting humanity's terms for galactic cooperation. The chamber was packed with representatives from over 300 species, all watching with a mixture of fear, respect, and curiosity. Humanity accepts its place in the galactic community, Miller announced, her voice clear and confident. But we have conditions. She brought up a holographic display showing the new boundaries of Earth's space, a sphere of influence 3 times larger than what most young species were granted. No one objected. After seeing Earth's capabilities, no one dared. First, Miller continued, all unauthorized surveillance of Earth and its colonies ends today. Any species found spying on us will face consequences. She didn't need to explain what those consequences would be. Everyone had seen the demonstration. First speaker, now Earth's strongest ally in the Council, stood to support the motion. Agreed. Earth has proven itself worthy of trust and respect. Second, Miller went on, Earth will share some of its innovations with the galactic community, but we will do so at our own pace and only with species that prove themselves trustworthy. This caused excitement in the chamber. Many species had already approached Earth, hoping to learn the secrets of human adaptability and innovation. Some had offered incredible wealth and technology in exchange. Earth had refused them all, until now. Third, and here Miller's voice grew stern, any act of aggression against Earth or its allies will be met with immediate response. We're not looking for fights, but we're always ready for them. Walker watched the aliens' reactions from his council seat. Some showed signs of fear, others of approval. A few looked angry, but they kept quiet. The message from Earth's demonstration had been clear. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Finally, Miller said, Earth will establish an open exchange program. Species that wish to learn our ways of thinking and innovation can send their best and brightest to study with us. In return, we'll send our people to learn from you. This was the most controversial proposal. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. The idea of allowing humanity's chaotic thinking to spread worried them. But none spoke against it. Walker stood to address the council directly. For centuries, you watched us grow. You thought you were studying a primitive species. Instead, you were watching humanity prepare for this moment. We turned your surveillance into an advantage. We learned from your technology. We prepared for every possibility. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of various alien representatives. But now it's time for something new. You fear our unpredictability. Learn from it. You worry about our adaptability. Share in it. The galaxy doesn't need to fear humanity. It needs to embrace what makes us different. First speaker joined him. The old era of containment and control is over. The time has come for true cooperation. As the Council voted to accept Earth's terms, Walker received a message from Earth's Defense Command. Their long-range sensors had detected several alien warships approaching from hostile species. But even as he read the report, another message came in. The ships had been intercepted and turned back by allies of Earth, species that had already signed friendship treaties with humanity. The game had changed. Earth wasn't just ready and waiting anymore. It was leading, teaching, growing. The species that had once tried to quarantine humanity now looked to it for guidance. Later, in his private chamber, Walker looked out at the stars. Dr. Miller joined him, holding 2 glasses of Earth wine, the first ever served in the Galactic Council building. "Think they finally understand?" she asked. Walker took a glass. "They're starting to. They thought putting us in a box would keep them safe. Instead, it gave us time to prepare. Time to grow stronger. Time to become something they never expected. And now," he smiled, "now we show them what humanity can really do, not as an enemy, not as a threat, but as a teacher. They wanted to contain us because they feared change. We'll teach them to embrace it instead." The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the new era that was beginning. Humanity had given its final warning to the galaxy. But it wasn't a threat. It was a promise of something better, something new. A promise that the galaxy would never be the same again.